Arne Slot just finished the press conference, and here are the main talking points. Apologies, it was actually yesterday and I missed it, but here we go. So injuries as ever. Joe Gomez has had a operation, so he is going to be out. Slot said that he may be back for the last couple of games for the season, but it's unlikely. Connor Bradley, they still haven't actually seen what he's like because they haven't had training yet, but he would be surprised if he makes the Man City or Newcastle game. And he was asked about Gakpo, and he said that he hasn't seen him, he hasn't trained with the team yet, but he may take some part in training today, and he hopes that he's available for the Man City game. He was asked a lot of stuff about Nunes. He asked, was Nunes disappointed in his miss, and was Slot disappointed in his miss? And he basically said, look, Nunes takes it as bad as anybody. The fact that he got a chance is impressive, because that's what you need your strikers to do, is take chances. And Slot says, I can forgive strikers missing chances because there's a lot of variations. What I can't forgive was his attitude after the miss. The miss seemed to get into his head a lot, and he wasn't the Nunes of the last few months after that miss. And if he'd continued to be the Nunes that we've seen this season, would he have got to the ball ahead of Martinez for that chance a couple of minutes later? So he says he needs to have a word with him about that, and basically tell him, look, it's okay to miss chances, but it's not okay to not give your all. And then he went on to say that this team, they're playing every 3 days, and these games are showing him that these players can play every 3 games. They have the fitness for it. I mean, he said, you look at Szoboszlai, he was running until the last minute of this game, having played 3 games in a row. He said that's unbelievable. But if they're not giving their all, he can't accept that. If they're giving their all and they miss chances, he can. And he also said it'd be really good if everyone had the same attitude as Endo, because he barely plays, but when he does play, he comes on and he's excellent, and he never complains, and he just gets on with it. And he says, but that's a very rare thing to have as a player. So he understands why not everyone is like that, but he needs to have a chat with Nunes about his attitude after the miss, basically. He was asked about Arsenal. He said, are you keeping an eye on Arsenal this week? They are playing before you, so then if they win, will that put more pressure on you to win the game at City? And he said, we don't need to see Arsenal to put pressure on ourselves for the game against City. We need to do the best we can. City are a tough side. Yes, they haven't had the best season, but you can already see they're playing better. Look how they played against Newcastle. They are getting players back. He said, if you look at them and Spurs, it's hard to play with 10 players, 11 players every week, and have no substitutions, and that's why their form has deteriorated. But they've bought some players, and they've also having some injuries back, so they're going to get better, and we've got to be on our game to beat them. A question was, obviously against Wolves they played like a low block and tried to counter. Villa came out against us, were very creative and aggressive, which is basically how City will play. And you could argue that Liverpool were actually better on the ball against Villa than they were against Wolves. So the question was, do you think you're going to have more chances against City because they're not playing a low block? And he basically said, look, every game comes with its own challenges. We play against Wolves and you get told, you don't get many chances. But at the other end, they haven't had many chances. And then you play against someone like Villa and you go, you got lots of chances, but you also conceded a lot of chances. And he said, so there's always ups and downs for every game that you play. And City will make chances because they're City, but they will leave gaps. So if we play our game and we play the best that we can, then we believe that we have a good chance of winning that game. He was asked that earlier in the season, he had said that he wants to try and make more chances for his number 9s, and Jota in the last 4 games has had 10 chances. So is Slot happy with that, and is Jota disappointed that only one of them has gone in? And Slot straight away said yes, but he has had assists, so they count as well. And he said, and like I said before, making chances is the most important thing, and then it's down to a bit of good luck, a bit of bad luck, and form to whether they score them or not. But if we're getting chances, as long as we get chances, I'm happy, because the rest will follow. And I think that was about it. I think as a fan base, I think we need to remember This team is doing extraordinarily well. At the start of the season, everyone thought we wouldn't even make the top 4. I said at the start of the season I'd be happy with a top 4 finish and maybe a cup if we're lucky. We're still top of the league by 7 points. We're still in the Carabao Cup final. We're still top seed in the Champions League, and we're on the good side of that draw. This team has done phenomenal things considering they've spent no money as well. I just think we need to enjoy this ride and not get on their backs so much. I know that's difficult to say and difficult to do because you want your team to win the league. I get that. But we need to remember how good they've been and celebrate that, because I think that will feed into the positivity of the team, and I think that will help us win more games. We are still in a frightening position. If someone had offered you 7 points with, 11 games to go, you'd rip their hands off. So let's just enjoy it. Let's stay positive. Have a lovely day. Come on, you Reds.